Mark Cannizzaro, New York Post.
Hey, Joe, can you speak a little bit about the importance of getting some edge pass rushing in there? I mean, the Giants' defenses for years, it used to be an automatic, with pass rushers, and it's obviously been an issue for you guys, particularly on the outside, for a number of years now. What was the importance of that, and what does Azeez bring to the table?
Well, first off, I was pleased with the progress we made on defense last year with the guys on our roster. We had some injuries that affected some guys like Zoe and X-Man. And obviously, we had some rookies had to come in and step up. We got good contribution from guys like Jabal Sheard when they were on the team. So we didn't look at this in the nature of, that we had to absolutely go out there and address something, or else it was going to be dire. We have confidence in the guys we have on our roster. We like Azeez as a player. We have a lot of experience with him throughout this organization. Marcus Cooper, one of our scouts, has great relationships with these guys. We put a lot of trust in his evaluations because he really gets to know these guys on a deep basis. And coincidentally, actually, all 3 picks came from Coop's area, and he's got a lot of inside info on these guys. On top of that, you talk about Azeez. Look, the coach he's going to play for, Kevin Shear, recruited and signed him at the University of Georgia, before he was a freshman. You talk about the other coaches that we have on staff who had to play against him in the SEC. He's always a guy that stood out to them on the field as someone they had to account for. I got a lot of respect for the way Kirby runs his program. I love those guys down there. I think they play tough. They're well coached. So to be able to add a guy to our team to compete with our current roster, he was a good fit for us. We're excited to have him here, but like all other rookies, got to come in and compete and earn what he gets.
Thanks, Joe.
Jordan Rana, ESPN.
Hey, Joe. I didn't get a chance to ask Dave, so this one has to fall on your shoulders. With Azeez, it's out there that there was a knee problem, and some teams actually flagged him. Where did you guys stand on that?
Yeah, listen, I'd say I don't think there's a player in this draft period or any draft for that matter that doesn't have something that shows up on a medical record. I trust our medical team. Ronnie and his guys do a great job. We have some of the best doctors, in the world who look at these guys and constantly update us on what they think, the current risk is. All I can go back to is this guy came back, he played. This guy doesn't miss practices at Georgia. He played at a very high effort, high intensity. I'm very pleased, with what you saw on tape. And in terms of the medical expertise, I leave that on Ronnie Barnes and his staff. I let them go ahead and give us the information. And with that information, we make the decisions.
Art Stapleton, the record.
Hey, Joe, what'd you like about Patrick Robinson, and what was it getting a little dicey there? Dave said, you guys felt like you didn't want to risk losing him. And the fact that he was in the group that you were considering with the 2nd round pick, obviously you like what you saw.
Yeah, listen, A-Rob's a good player. Again, we're excited to add him to the program. Let him come and compete. There's going to be a lot of competition with our defensive backs, corners, and safeties. Look, this is a guy that jumped out to us on tape, as well as when we were down at the Senior Bowl, got to see him in person, sit down, meet with him. I had multiple meetings that week, got to Zoom him throughout this process. So I had a lot of exposure with this guy as a person. And this guy really does, he's got a good personality. He really lights up. This is a guy, he plays on the field. You see when he makes a play, his teammates immediately sprint to him. There's a lot of excitement. You can tell he's got a bond with his teammates, and that stands out with the energy his teammates play with him as well. In terms of him as the player, look, he's a physical player. He's got good traits. He gives us versatility to play him inside or outside. This guy has some value to play in the kicking game as well. And, just the demeanor he plays with, the physicality, and his ability to play in both press and off, gives us some options how we can use him.
Dan Duggan, The Athletic.
Hey, Joe, obviously we know about your connection with Kirby and you're talking about that Georgia program. Like, how much does that help with transition? Like, is a guy like Azeez more ready because he's been through that? And then just even schematically, is what they do similar to what you guys do? Like, what he'll be asked to do be similar?
So I'd say the answer in terms of the terminology or maybe some of the concepts of the defense, there are similarities to that. It's all basically off the same branch of the defensive tree and philosophy from, different coaches in the past. However, it doesn't matter where you come from. None of these rookies have a leg up on anyone when they come on in. They've got to come in. They have to learn the league. They have to learn our system. They have to compete with our vets on the roster. Just being from a certain school doesn't give anyone a leg up on anything. They have to come in. The National Football League is completely different than college. You have to learn a lot of things about it, the speed of the game, the tempo of the game. So it's nice that he's from a familiar system, but past, day one install of meetings and basic terminology, that's the only jump he'll have on anybody else.
Paul Schwartz, New York Post.
Hey, Joe. This is obviously not a new world for the Giants, but the way the draft was manipulated the last 2 days, moving up, moving down. Heck, you had a 5th round pick you gained, and then you just traded it away. Was with the Giants for about 12 hours or something like that. Do you like this, a little bit more rock and roll than maybe the Giants are used to, and keeping everybody on their toes?
I think we're just making the best decision for the team at the time. With the opportunity to move down and gain more value because there's a number of players that we feel within that range are going to be available, then we'll go ahead and look into that option. As you saw with like A-Rob, we didn't want to give the chance of somebody else coming up and taking him at that point. He was a priority for us to get. So we used the pick to trade on up. As I said yesterday, these picks are people, and you have to make, calculated risks, whether you acquire them or give them up. I feel good about what we did today in the draft. I'm sure Dave's got a concussion or something, so we'll make sure you check on him overnight, and we'll get back to work tomorrow.
Thank you.
Tom Rock, Newsday.
Joe, with all the uncertainty, how important were those Senior Bowl meetings? You had them with 2 of your picks so far.
Yeah, I thought they were critical. In fact, I really thought the Senior Bowl this year did a great job of making sure that everyone got to meet with every player. And the setup down there was really phenomenal. And not having the combine, the Senior Bowl really replaced those personal interactions with those guys. I don't think you can ever really replace getting to see a guy play or work out, compete in person, and then be able to sit down and look a guy eye to eye, okay, and really get a feel for him. Zoom's nice. Personal interaction is critical.
And what do you remember particularly about the one with Robinson?
I just remember he had a very direct personality. You talk to him, he lit up when he started talking football. That's important. Again, the passion for the game. I just like direct, honest people, and he's got that to him.
We'll take 2 more. Zach and Matt. Zach Rosenblatt, NJ.com.
Hey, Joe, to jump off Dan's question about Georgia, I'm curious, what is your relationship like with Kirby Smart? And is there just like a quality in the players that he coaches that I don't know, stands out? Because you guys have drafted 3 guys from there in the last 2 years, whether that's a coincidence or not.
Well, I think the coincidence would be that he just coaches really good players. They do a great job of recruiting top talent. They develop them over the course of time they're there. Those players learn to work hard, play hard. They understand the value of playing, old school, fundamental physical football. And that's really what draws to it. In terms of, me and Kirby, we worked together 3 years at Alabama. I have a lot of respect for him as a person, a lot of respect for him as a coach. So when where someone's coming from, you have a little bit of insight into how you can coach them. Okay, what really makes them tick and how they respond in adverse situations.
Last one here, Matt Lombardo, Fansided.
Hey, Joe, kind of piggybacking off that a little bit, how critical was weekends like this in determining when you were building your coaching staff? Because you have so many assistants who were former college coaches with ties to these major programs. How much did that factor into the hiring process for you?
Yeah, actually none of it. I mean, we have a great scouting staff here, so we didn't bring anybody in to kind of supersede what anyone else is doing. It really just was a bonus. Look, I hired the best coaches I could find, and it starts with being good people and good teachers.